Air Commodore Steve Roberton. I'm the commander of Australia's Air Combat Group. We're here today at RAAF base Amberley in Queensland, which is the home to our Super Hornet squadrons, number 1 and number 6 squadron. My background, I'm a F-18 Classic Hornet pilot for a bit over 20 years and was involved in the introduction of the Super Hornet into Australia about 5 or 6 years ago.
Rhino, this is Wedgetail, target remaining hostile, bearing 30, 14 miles.
Rhino, copy, 30, 14 miles.
So for Australia, the Super Hornet was brought in to replace the F-111. Originally we brought it in as a bridging stopgap measure, but it's now been extended out for at least another 15 years. We'll be operating the F model and the Growler aircraft for us. We'll be operating them out to at least 2030. This will complement the F-35 fleet, which is replacing our older Classic Hornets, and we will in fact have a similar configuration to the United States Navy, a complementary F-35 Lightning fleet, the Super Hornet F model fleet, and a bespoke Growler capability. And we think in our region and for what we're trying to achieve, that's going to be a very capable force mix. So we utilised we bought the F model Super Hornet. That was for a couple of reasons for us. One, it retained the full capability of the two-seat community. Two, it meant we only needed one aircraft type. So we often fly the F model single seat. We won't fill the back seat if we don't have a weapon system operator there to use it. The more important thing, of course, is that we only need one aircraft type, so we don't need a single-seater and a two-seater for training. If we want to get the most capability out of this modern jet, this next-generation system, really it is best utilised, like in the current environment in the Middle East, by having a two-place crew, and it's proving wonderfully effective. One of the main areas where the two-seat is really effective is because it has an interdependent cockpit. So what happens in the back seat is really invisible to those in the front. They're operating their own pod. The aircraft radar can actually be doing air-to-air in the front and doing air-to-ground mapping in the back, and that information passage is so important. Why this is important, we're seeing already in the Middle East, the time it takes for us to get a target and to actually engage and get a weapon away is a fraction of what it would take us in the single seat community, probably less than half the amount of time. That redundancy, the accuracy, and the use of the generation of Cat-1 GPS coordinates for modern GPS guided weapons is proving to be a real winner for us. It's very effective. I have flown, I've flown against F-16s, of course, many times. I've flown in them, and I had the pleasure of flying in the back seat of a Danish F-16 back in about 2008, in very cold weather, I might add, for an Australian. And it was a great experience. You have a wonderful IR pod, but I think whatever aircraft type you tried, the air crews are going to love going to a modern, reliable, and incredibly capable platform. It'll really be that difference going from kind of a dial-up to broadband and the amount of information that can come in and be used. It's a pretty exciting time. So we've received our first couple of F-35s in the US at the moment, and our first pilots are over there flying it. We won't bring them back to Australia until around about 2019 as we continue to send instructional pilots and maintenance crews over there. We'll stand up our first operational squadron in 2020, the end of 2020, and start phasing out our Classic Hornet fleets. And we'll also have our own training squadron, number 2 operational conversion unit, to do F-35 training. We'll stand that up at the same time in 2020 to 2021.
Only one, right, 2 o'clock high, 4 miles.
Tally, box 2, engage.